Let's get a little out there. Yeah, Slay the Spire 2 is finally released. Next Fest has been over for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I usually try to find at least one game to make a video on and kind of show off. But instead, I spun a wheel to decide the topic of today's video, so we're gonna go with that. Tune in next time where I continue to talk about nothing relevant. Now, I'm not a gambling man. I never really got into Balatro, and gambling, slop, roguelites, and roguelike games are not really my jam. They never interested me. This isn't the pivot into saying that I've found it, finally, the one that has changed my mind, and I love gambling slop games. No. It's me realizing that, wait, it's all gambling, and it always has been. Because of how the stars aligned, the original Slay the Spire is the example of today's video, so apologize for being way out of date on that one, especially with the drop of Slay the Spire 2, and I absolutely want to talk about it, but I just haven't figured out what exactly I want to do for that yet. So think back to the first few times you played Slay the Spire. You've unlocked all the characters and are at least familiar with all the different builds that they can each partake in and the capabilities of each of their decks and the specific relics that they can unlock. So naturally you want to go for a specific facet of one of those characters' builds. We're going to take the Defects Power build, for example. You've already put your money on a less than 33% chance if we put arbitrary numbers on assuming there are 3 main defect builds. One option is what we'll call zero cost cards and going for all for one, which will bring any card in your discard pile that costs 0 back into your hand. So you fill your deck with things like claws, go for the eyes, and then beam cell, I think it's called, etc. 2 is going to be orb spam and orb generation, mainly just channeling orbs. Then finally 3 is our power build, where we're just going to be stacking as many buffs as we can possibly give ourselves and then have those buffs react with the other buffs that we have and play more buffs and eventually just be playing our own games, looking at our own hand, not really caring what the enemy is doing, similar to how the Silent has a discard build. Now obviously you won't be starting the run with one of these 3 builds, and it might even take till Act 3 before you're fully comfortable with what you have. But your mind is set, you're halfway through Act 1, you've somehow gotten Create AI, which allows more power builds to be added to your hand. For example purposes, we'll also say that you have the power card that channels a free lightning orb whenever you play another power card, and the mummified hand relic that makes just a random card in your hand free whenever you play a power card. It's all coming together. The probability of that fantasy is as slim as, well, we don't have to get into that. I'm not really a numbers man. You sources, you're gonna have to trust me on this one. So with all that lead up, you were able to beat Act 1 and be incredibly lucky to get that far. I mean, Slay the Spire has over 200 relics, meaning it's a less than 0.5% chance to get the mummified hand relic if we're excluding rarity. It might be a little easier to get the cards you want, since you can skip card rewards if they don't fit your build. Then hope to whoever you pray to that the rare card rewards is actually something useful. I personally pray to the Spotify algorithm in hopes that when I start the DJ, he doesn't play something on repeat that I've been listening to for the past 20 minutes already, and spam me with the same song that I skip every time that he plays it for me. I don't actively seek out this song, he keeps playing this for me, and then whenever I skip it, hoping that he doesn't scream at me and say, hey, you know, you just don't have to skip every damn song that I play for you, you ungrateful prick. Anyway, you took the gamble to buckle down and commit to this build. You hit red on the roulette wheel and are now reaping the rewards and all of the dopamine that comes with it. You're playing cards and comboing cards, focus is skyrocketing, investments are soaring. Buffalo! Buffalo! We can just forget about all the previous runs where you died. We can't, however, forget that it's all just dumb luck. There's no skill. The seed was predetermined. Your deck was predetermined. Fate exists. Destiny is real. It was either meant to be or you simply chose to play the game wrong. It's your fault. I was trying to get footage behind me here of an actually half decent power build that I had going on, and then I accidentally killed myself on thorns. And the only thing I recorded was me beating the chief, which is honestly a great example of what it's like when you lose what you thought you had. An almost perfect run despite most of the power cards that I was playing being heat sinks, the bane of my existence. I would love more of the lightning channel power cards, you know, buffer, defrags, the actual cool ones, rather than simply filling up my hand with cards that I can't play. But that's just me, and again, I lost. I just played the seed wrong, that's all my fault. See, now we're back at the base of the spire with nothing again. The ball somehow settled on green, you lost everything, and you're gonna get escorted out by security if you don't pick up your ass and leave soon. I got comfortable. I had started entering a mental sort of state of mind, of flow, of being able to just play all the power cards and having things just kind of work for me. It was truly greatness, but I didn't cherish what I had. Now it's all gone. But failure doesn't feel useless in roguelike games. It feels productive that you've gotten as far as you have. You've learned a few things, you've seen a few things, you've unlocked a few things to aid you in future runs. Most importantly, you're able to soak up information and figure out what you need to adapt to. Okay, a final Act 3 boss that gains strength every time I play a power card. Maybe I should start stack in some more skills that can do passive damage and really start building me up. Maybe I opt to get some more frost generation with the blizzard boss card in mind, where I just keep playing frost orbs, build up my defenses, and then eventually rain hail on everything, and we'll get to the second phase, and then I'll really be able to lay into it with the power cards. Or the lightning counterpart, where I just channel lightning orbs. The lightning orbs will do passive damage, and then eventually when I'm ready to kill, I'll do the 3-cost lightning strike, deal 7 damage for every lightning orb I've channeled. Basically, you may have failed this run, but roguelike games aren't designed to be beaten every single attempt. They're designed to be a challenge, but you can also beat them any way you so choose. Unfortunately, though, choose your own adventure books do end with you dying. That's just how it works. Hey, gspree, Gavin here. What if it was all an illusion? What if roguelike games were all manufactured so that when you finally get to that so-called game-breaking build, that's just you finally playing the game the way the developers, well, developed. You finally peaked and reached the game's intended playstyle. You may think that you're getting better, you may think that you're breaking the game. The developers thought about this. The developers made this so-called game-breaking build. I mean, they play-tested it, they put it in their game. You'd think they planned for this, and that's exactly what they did. After all, why not put together a powerful synergy? But not every powerful synergy and every game-breaking build can beat every boss easily. So is it really as powerful as you think it is? That's what keeps you coming back. That's all their ploy. This is just all psychological deception. All right, I'm off to start to search for more dopamine by playing, you guessed it, one more run. Yee woo, yeah, great. Now that I got incremental progress on my side, I got more to unlock for future runs. More relics to aid me, more cards to boost my plans of attack, or my plans of defense if you want to do that. That's also an option. Just depends on which way your spire curves. Where roguelike games offer you unlocks outside of the run for future runs, roguelite games offer you upgrades outside of the run to improve your next run, basically begging you for one more, begging you to go again. On its hands and knees to unlock and upgrade what you haven't done yet. Serving up a platter for whatever gets your mouth salivating and you rubbing your hands together. Forcing you to indulge with goals in mind of unlocking and upgrading more things to make that next run even better. Do you have everything? Rewarding you for even starting a new game. There are roguelite games that reward you for playing like 30 runs, and if you actually care about unlocks and achievements and stuff, you don't care about the validity of those runs, you don't care about the quality of those runs. You're just gonna start the run and you're gonna kill yourself immediately and then just get that reward, and then ooh, yippee, now I got a big old moon head now for my Spell Brigade character after dying 30 times. I don't really get the point of these. I get that they want to keep you coming back and keep you in the game for longer, but that number is just too high, man. 30? We have to play 30 runs to unlock this skin for this character? There's one that can be done with dumb luck in one run. But anyway, it doesn't matter how far you go. There will always be XP. There will always be meta progression currency in your pocket for upgrading your roguelike needs and really just gamifying the whole world. Because isn't everything gamified to increase max attention span? And this is seen a lot in games in the world today where everything is just gamified to grab the most of your attention span. It's just like gambling. Everything just wants your attention and wants your money. This is why roguelike games don't need microtransgressions. This is why roguelike games don't need microtransactions. This is how roguelike developers can afford to punch their game out in early access and then slowly drip feed us more and more content till the game's full release. And honestly, this is a really smart marketing plan to keep players playing over an elongated period of time, keeping players coming back. Please, Windblown, this is a genuine beg. I really need 1.0 released soon. We also have a dopamine loop that I wanted to talk about. This sense of exploration and inquisitiveness that comes with trying new things, discovering new things. For Slay the Spire, it's getting over that bell curve that starts with, I'm gonna pick up everything, and then peaks at, I can only pick up things that are specific to my run. I can't pick up something that's outside of the run build. And then on the other side of that bell curve where it's just, yeah, I'm gonna pick up everything. Let's pick another game that's not Slay the Spire or Windblown. Sure, let's use Raw 2, a classic roguelike game with a hard K, and honestly, once you unlock everything, what's there to do? You just have it all. Everything's at your fingertips, and you can play the game however you want. But once you've got everything, what's the incentive to keep coming back? What's the incentive for one more game? Maybe if you're like me, you're on the verge of reaching a peak commando attack speed on-hit build. Write it up with syringes and the amount of on-hit debuffs to trigger death marks the second you see somebody's body, somebody's mass arise over the horizon. But you also make your own fun. I mean, these runs can last like an hour to 2 hours. You have runs for funsies, just hanging out out with the game, doing nothing in particular, maybe just doing a BS build of building everything, grabbing one of every single item, or maybe I'm going a stalwart build, personal favorite on accurate, just stocking up on armor and health and maybe even attack speed. They're just building razor wire so I can just run around everything, stuff hits me, and then I just spew out some damage back and just do all my damage that way. Or maybe you want to stack fleeting scrap items of the same item and just have over 100 of the same item on this new Scrapper character from the Alloyed Collective DLC. There's also a huge modding community for Risk of Rain 2, not just like skins, but also new characters and new items. Shout out to the Wii Fit board, which one of these bad boys can increase your movement speed by 35% because for some reason we needed that amount of speed. My friends and I play on the easiest difficulty simply to explore and have a great time in the game. Just mess around, really. Bring back the whimsy in co-op roguelike games. Finding our own adventures and splurging on the randomness that a roguex game brings to a chaotic-minded friend group. Flipping subtopics again, before we ended this video, I also wanted to bring up pacing. Pacing is super important if developers want to keep players coming back to their game and staying on the game for longer. Not just replayability, but the simple factor of time. This is incredibly important to me. Finding that perfect little sweet spot in there somewhere. Maybe not having too long runs or too short runs, but what does it feel like to be in these runs? Runtimes can get up to like 1 to 2 hours, and especially depending on the difficulty that you're playing, what strategy you're trying to implement, and what encounters you're getting for enemies. If you lose a run, it can obviously make the game last anywhere between 5 minutes and max runtime. But what if we dove deeper into what do those hours feel like? Is it constant action or is it turn-based combat? What does the map feel like? Does your traversal feel natural going from one side to the other? Does it feel slow? Does it feel quick? Does it fluctuate when you're starting or ending the combat or the encounter? From dropping into the first stage on Risk of Rain 2, it's going to feel really slow. Then you're going to get up to the boss of the first stage and it's going to go pretty quick. You're going to charge the teleporter, you're going to go on to the next place. It's going to speed up a little bit, but you have that initial slowdown period, and then you have that the opposite of initial towards the end of the stage where it slows down a little bit again. You've beaten the boss at maybe 10% of your teleporter charging time, and now you're just sitting and waiting around for the teleporter to charge again. There's that real fluctuation, and like, I don't know what exactly it is, but the concept of time feeling like it's moving a lot faster than it really is. When there's a lot of stuff happening on your screen, you're fighting a boss, you're fighting a bunch of enemies, you're trying to grab items and stuff for the next stage, but there's a time after that, after everything is all settled, where you're just kind of waiting around. With larger maps like Risk of Rain 2, there's a lot of traversal time, and there's often not a lot of time, especially when you're playing in co-op, where you're going from, spawn point to the teleporter in a straight line and not getting distracted. In games like Slay the Spire, where it's turn-based, everything is completely at your own pace. You can go as fast or as slow as you want to. And especially dependent on the builds that you have, those encounters can last anywhere between 5 seconds and 10 minutes. So with all of this action going on and with all of this thinking going on, how do you feel after a 30-minute, 1 hour or 2 hour run? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel exhausted and completely mentally drained and not able to jump into another run? Maybe you finally finished and successfully beat a run. It feels really good because it was just an uphill battle the entire way. You are so mentally drained, you're not able to just do it again. Maybe you were a third or half a way through a run. You was feeling really good, and then you just hit a complete stone wall and stopped dead in your tracks, and you're kicked out to the main menu. Now what? Do you feel like, yeah, this is bullshit, I don't want to play another run? I mean, at the end of the day, video games are designed to keep our attention, so most of these games are going to be going by really quick, but it's all about how fast the game feels when you're in it. Maybe in a game like Monster Hunter World, which I've been playing recently, so I can use it as an example, there's a massive field. First initial part of the quest doesn't feel like you're going very fast. You're kind of just walking around, tracking the monster, eventually getting to the monster, and then the time that you're fighting that monster, dependent on what weapon you're using, what monster you're fighting, can feel really fast because it's really fast paced. There's a lot going on. Maybe you have a slower weapon, so it feels a lot slower. Maybe you're missing a lot of your attacks or really trying to struggle learning this new weapon. It's going to feel like it's going to take a lot longer, but once it's all said and done, maybe you've been in there for 14 minutes, which it either could be the longest 14 minutes of your life, or it could have been the fastest 14 minutes of your life. So at the end of all this, what's the longevity of your session? Are you going to do one run and be done with it, or are you going to be here for a couple hours and do a couple of runs? How invested are you in actually making progress? Or are you just there to have some good time with your friends, like what video games were originally supposed to be treated as, just a way to pass the time? As usual, gspree gang, I appreciate you so much for allowing me some of your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, weekend. I will catch you the next time you catch me.